Hi everybody, and welcome back to Yukikaze Gaming. So, after failing previously to clear Big Shak Stage 7, and getting way down into like 1% territory, uh, I figured I'd just put that on the back burner for a little while until I had managed to get some kind of upgrades. Now that I've gotten Gremory upgraded from my previous video to A216, I'm hoping that she has the attack she needs to give me the little bit of extra oomph to get Shak down. So, I'm gonna go ahead and load up my Big Shak set. Important to note that the ranged team cannot wear Fantastic Hybrid Animals because the rain attack that he does dispels, which will dispel the Fantastic Hybrid Animals effect. And we definitely want Gold Ether. Now, there are times where if you're trying to rush into doing GC3, you might actually choose the Shak Fragments instead there. But this account, I'm less worried about that than I am about just being able to progress through content in general as quickly as possible. And also, there's some advantages to building your soul weapons first in terms of being able to clear content more quickly and ultimately being more efficient in farming. So whenever he uses this tornado, you potentially want to be using the first cane skill up here. It will help keep your team alive, and it lets you do some extra damage. The other time to use that is when he drops the Tree of Sin. The extra damage helps you kill the tree in time, which can be pretty important. Okay, so this part gets a little bit dicey. Alright, and now he's dropping the tree. Killing the Tree of Sin, by the way, decreases his CC meter pretty significantly, and at these higher stages, if he has any CC meter left, when you go into his transition, he is going to one-shot you. There's technically a part where he can have a little bit left and not have it immediately kill you, but in practice, it still usually murders you. And I don't know... Okay, I did just barely survive that. You'll notice I turn auto off during these phases. That's really just to let my characters kind of save up mana and abilities, because he's invulnerable in this stage, and there's no CC bar to get rid of yet. So I wait until he pops out of that phase, and then turn auto back on, which goes a long way in taking the CC meter down quickly, as well as, getting a huge burst of damage as soon as he becomes vulnerable again, because your characters all have their abilities up and mana to use them. But there are times when that's not the most effective thing to do. This doesn't look good. Oh, yep, Gremory died. Okay, we're gonna have to try again. This is a little tricky to do without Shea, by the way. Normally you would have her in there to use her continuous heal or her 70% damage reduction during that rain phase. Both of those are pretty effective at keeping you alive there. Sometimes you chain them. But since I don't have Shea online and operational yet, she's unlocked, but she still has a long way to go in terms of gear before she's functional. Just kind of got to work with what I have. Here comes the Tree of Sin. This time you'll be able to see how much that reduces the CC bar when you destroy it. Using the second cane skill does also reduce the CC meter, but you are pretty limited on how many of those you get, so not always the most optimal way to go. I probably should have turned her auto off, but oh well. By her, I mean Fallen Frey. We survived that one, so it's fine. Another Tree of Sin. So, from here on, I'm going to have to save this last one because the Tree of Sins are often much more dangerous than the tornadoes. Want to make sure that I've got the ability to deal with those when they pop up, because sometimes damage can be a little too low to take those out otherwise, especially with a team like mine, on this account, that's still missing a lot of the upgrades to things like uh, additional Transcendence perks and artifacts and things of that nature. And at this point, usually it's only the first tornado he casts that's really dangerous, because with this team, once it gets going, Loman's shield is often able to absorb most, if not all, of the damage from that, which we saw that our health didn't even drop this time. And there's Tree of Sin. Hopefully this will be the last one that we get. His attacks are randomized, so you can't really accurately predict what he's going to use. In fact, I've seen him use the same attack twice in a row, which can be very frustrating sometimes if that's not the attack that you want to be dealing with. And there's the phase transition just in time. I don't know, I mean, we're a little shy on time here. This is a little bit dicey, but we'll see. Another Tree of Sin. So we've actually gotten so many Trees of Sin this time that it's been setting us back on damage on the boss, which is kind of irritating, but oh well. I'm gonna preemptively cast one of those, just to get his mana bar down a bit. And ran out of time at 2%. Alright, so that literally was basically just bad RNG on Tree of Sin for the most part. I think if we get slightly better odds here, we might be able to get through, but we'll see. This stage is the first time on this account that I've actually run into problems killing the boss. All the other ones, my biggest challenge was just not phasing him too fast. But, eventually you're gonna run up against a wall with Big Shak as you progress, at least until you get all your units operational. And here comes Tree of Sin. is also one trick I can use to try to increase my total damage on him a little bit, that I haven't tried yet. Let's see if I have to resort to that. Oh, that's bad timing. So he's got a Tree of Sin coming out, but he's also pretty close to phasing. He might actually phase before the tree dies. Um, hold off on using that ability just in case. That was probably a bad idea. Yep, okay. So I think I'm gonna implement the trick I was talking about. It's not really a proper trick, so to speak, but uh, I think I can get away with putting uh, the Feather of Sacrifice on Gao to increase total team damage a bit. Let's see if that works out. I do still want Gao to... Well, I do still want to run the Crown. I just won't be running it on Gao if I do this. So we've got one Star Feather. That shouldn't make him take too much additional damage. Also, what artifact, or UT I mean, is he using? It's the one that's only P damage. That's unfortunate, but I don't have the other artifact for him at the moment. Or, sorry, UT. Okay. Alright, so... I think the best course is to give... This will be kind of a test, too, because I'm not actually totally sure myself how, things like plaque function. When they are... I'm gonna keep Pumpkin on him. Actually, plaque is better to have over here anyway. Purely because, well, not purely, but for two reasons. One is that the pumpkin doesn't actually function when the Tree of Sin is out, which is the main time that castle needs to do damage. And the other is that the attack to team, um, really benefits the healers on the ranged side. So I think the best thing to get rid of is the Abyssal Breath, because it can't target both units anyway. And my range team does have a little bit of trouble staying alive. So I think I will give Fallen Frey the pumpkin. That's partly because she just tends to take a bit more damage. And then I will give Estelle the honorary medal. And just a quick check. Guess it's reward time. Nope. Just a quick check to see if I have enough materials in my inventory to craft an event artifact ticket. No, I'm still shy. Are there any things I can pop open that might include those? There's not. Okay. I've been stuck at 50 remaining for a while, and upgrading the pumpkin would have been nice for this, but is what it is. bad start. Did I... Maybe I messed up who's wearing what artifact there. Keep an eye on that. And Tree of Sin. Probably didn't actually need to use that there, but that's okay. You can see the overall DPS does seem to be a little bit higher. So Kayn only shows up to block the swords when the CC meter is all the way down, by the way. As I was saying earlier, if the CC meter isn't quite all the way depleted, theoretically it is possible to live through that. But the amount of damage that it deals, even though it's not a guaranteed one-shot, is still so substantial that it usually wipes most, if not all, of your team. It's better to just make sure that that CC gauge is all the way depleted, and make sure that he's not going to hit you with that enormous attack. Oh, that was close. I rely a little bit on the heal from Castle's soul weapon. And this is a little bit tricky because he might actually phase transition here before this dies, and it looks like we're killing it fast enough anyway. Unfortunately, total time remaining is actually a bit worse than previous attempts. So, actually pretty significantly worse. And we lost a unit. That doesn't look good for us. Yeah. Alright. Hard to say exactly what happened there, if that was just bad RNG or what. Might be that it's worth, changing up an artifact again, too. I also want to double check Loman's artifact, because he did get one shot at the start that one time. Okay, so he is wearing that. He should be getting the extra health from it. He probably just failed to block or something silly like that. Oh, and that's a good point. I also got, this for Loman. I should be using it. I don't think I have a... Yeah, I still don't have a Soul Stone for him. Um, but the effect on his, UW means that... Yeah, increasing the P damage target takes by 25%. So that on its own may actually be enough, to push us over. Um, kind of forgot that that had been upgraded as well. Um, let's see here. And then over on this side, I think if we're trying to push for more damage, Abyssal Breath is going to be better than Honorary Medal, so let's try that out as well. And go ahead and save this preset before I forget. So this time I think we've got this as long as we don't run into a situation where a character dies unexpectedly or something like that. Now it's interesting. So right now Gremory is actually out DPSing Castle, which is a little odd. And what I'm doing with Fallen Frey is just using her S1 to heal up the team, if that wasn't evident. Um, the timing on that is kind of important when you don't have Shea around. You can't use her shield in that scenario because it gets dispelled with every attack. So, unless you're running Evan with his non-dispellable shield, shields aren't going to do you a whole lot of good during that attack. Okay, total DPS looking significantly better this time. So this time I'm actually... Oh, it didn't work out. Okay. So the problem there was Fallen Frey has more attack than Gremory does, which meant that she will hit herself with the heal, but not Gremory. That's the heal that's triggered off of her UW, by the way. That triggers every time she casts a spell. Nope, Gremory died at the start. Okay. Not quite sure what happened there. Probably just the Fallen Fairy hadn't gotten a shield off yet, and she got smushed. Although we did reduce the health of that team a little bit by removing that artifact, so that could leave them a little bit more vulnerable to these kinds of RNG deaths. Hopefully it doesn't just straight up get them killed in general. And Grimory's dead. Okay, we'll give this one more try. If Grimory dies again, might have to switch the artifacts back. Ha! Well, actually, I guess it's my fault that there's been some problems there, because I forgot to turn auto back on for Fallen Free between runs. So with that back in place, let's give it a few more tries. Embarrassing. So embarrassing. Ah, okay. Yeah, so we're definitely gonna need to switch that artifact back. Sadly, it is currently the difference between life or death. There's also some shenanigans I could do with UTs on a still. For instance, if I put on the smiley face UT, that will probably be able to keep us alive, since it'll reduce his damage dealt by 10%. But at the cost of some pretty significant loss of boss damage and cooldown reduction to her abilities that helps her stay in the state that we want her in, adventure state or whatever. Adventure time state. Uh, so probably I'll try switching the artifact first. The other thing is I could try switching her back to a build where she can actually reduce his mana. Right now, she's not able to do that. At least not very effectively. Actually, I don't think she can at all in this current build. Um, but we'll see. Forgot to turn auto on again. Hopefully that doesn't cost me too much. Oops, wrong button. Oh, Rhea died. Okay, try again. I am manualing a little bit here and there, by the way, just because the attempts have been so close. I'm trying to optimize using Castle's soul weapon as frequently as possible, and a few minor things like that. Um, even while auto is still turned on the character. Okay, trips in. Alright, he's ready to be pushed into the phase transition as soon as I can get the damage on him. I can probably go ahead and ignore this tornado. Save that for later. That was actually a bad time to pop his soul weapon, but oh well. Yeah, and again, I think we're still pretty good over here, and I'll just pop Castle's soul weapon to get some healing out. And there's the phase transition with almost a minute left. It's definitely a lot better than some of the previous runs, so I think we're in pretty good shape as long as nothing goes horribly wrong. Also still got 2 casts left on this, which will give us some additional damage to work with. Nope, did not want her to cast that right there, but I think we'll still live. It's gonna be close. Oh, that Tree of Sin is not good for us right now. Ah. Wow. Okay. Hmm. Okay, let's try a radically different approach. He's sitting at full mana most of the time anyway, so the CDR that I'm getting off of Reha probably isn't that critical. Um, I'm going to try to swap Valance back in and see what happens. I've not actually tried this method before. Um, by the way, I'm running this artifact on her because it helps allow more damage from Castle, which her other ability does not. Or, sorry, her other UT does not. Um, Going to equip the whip that Reha was using. And actually, with her S1 light, she's still going to be hitting Fallen Frey, and she might actually give Fallen Frey more cooldown reduction than she was getting from Reha, so this might work out quite well. Let's find out. Well, we can definitely see Grimry's damage exploding here. Yeah, those damage numbers are significantly higher. And part of what made me think of that is, Rehartna only amps for physical damage, but I'm running Gremory currently, who is, of course, magic damage. I think that's the last hit? Yeah. Okay. Oof, that was really close for Valance. Oh, nope, Valance died. Well, we'll see if we can still pull this off anyway. We're in the final phase, and already pretty ahead, or about to enter the final phase, compared to some of the other runs. Yep, okay, we got the Trias in. We're still good. I think we've got this. And that's victory. Alright. Well, that took way more tries than I would have liked, but we made some pretty significant team adjustments along the way, and ultimately ended up with a victory. And I hope this was informative for anyone who is watching it. Um, if you enjoyed this, please, like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to let me know also in the comments anything that you think I'm doing well or that I could do better. Happy to take constructive feedback. Uh, Not just in terms of what I could have done as far as gameplay wise, but in terms of the channel itself and my presentation of information and everything. Um, and thank you for joining us on Yukikaze Gaming. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.